Hello and welcome to my channel for news about the Fact Gossip 24. Please follow and subscribe for more information. Alana, your friend, is me. Let's begin.
90-day fiancé's Julia Trubkina continues to mourn son after leaving America without Brandon. Julia Trubkina from 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, recently shared an emotional experience of reuniting with her beloved dog, whom she affectionately referred to as her son. Originally from Russia, Julia moved to the United States to marry Brandon Gibbs. The couple has been married for nearly 5 years, but their relationship hasn't been perfect. They even underwent therapy to address their marital issues surrounding parenthood and relocating Julia's parents to the U.S. In the midst of navigating these challenges, they were devastated by the loss of their beloved dog, Simba, in May 2025. Despite being busy spending time with her family, Julia continues to hold on to memories of her beloved dog. She recently posted an Instagram story recounting a dream in which her dog, Simba, was still trying to protect her from a bear. In her message, Julia expressed, "Last night I saw you in my dream for the first time in a month and a half since you were gone. And even in my dream you tried to protect me from a bear and I tried to protect you." It was a monumental change for Julia when she first moved to the United States from Russia. As a city girl and a go-go dancer, she was accustomed to a fast-paced, urban lifestyle. However, Julia had to adjust to a very different way of life when she began living on Brandon's parents' farm in Virginia. Taking care of farm animals wasn't what she had anticipated for her American life. During those challenging times, she had her dog, Simba, with her as a loyal companion. Even when Brandon didn't always understand her, Julia found comfort in Simba's unconditional presence. Over the last 5 years, Julia cared for Simba as if he were her own son. However, his absence has left a deep void in her life, along with a great deal of maternal love. It's possible that Julia dreamed of protecting him because she lacked opportunities to express her affection and emotions in reality. She is still coming to terms with the loss of her dog, perhaps reflecting on what more she could have done to save him. In her dream, she may have felt guilty and helpless, believing she could have done more for him. In April 2025, Julia's dog began battling an illness that ultimately led to his passing in May. Even though more than a month has passed since she lost her beloved pet, her grief remains strong. To Julia, Simba wasn't just a pet but a true friend with whom she shared a unique and deeply emotional bond. It isn't unusual for her to still dream about him after his passing. The 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Cast member is slowly beginning to heal, with Brandon by her side to provide support and love. Julia Trubkina's world has shifted like the sands of a desert in her wake. Gone are the glittering neon signs of American nights, the rhythmic hum of Broadway dreams, and the promise of life with Brandon, her once beloved fiancé. Yet in that stillness, 2 hearts continue to beat, her own and the memory of the son she left behind. Their bond refuses to bow out. She wanders through the streets of Moscow now, but her mind drifts to a different skyline, the one she painted with Brandon at every step. Their story was one of passion and promise, a whirlwind romance under the bright lights of 90-Day Fiancé. But when whispers of conflict arose, a gulf opened between them. He stayed in America, for his roots, stability, maybe even for the life they'd already begun to build. She returned home, unwilling or unable to follow. And yet, the heartbeat she carried did not belong to Brandon. It belonged to their child, her son. In those private moments, when the world fades to gray and the laughter of children echoes from passing strollers, she remembers every kick, every flutter that bound her to him. She remembers the late-night storms of nausea, the soft journals she kept, the ultrasound images saved in a dusty album. A little life blossomed inside her. A promise of tomorrow. A son. But motherhood, for Julia, became a ghost story. She was never meant to walk the American sidewalks with a stroller. She never got to choose the nursery wallpaper or pick out tiny booties in pastel hues. She never held his hand on the first day of school. She never heard him whisper "Mama" when she greeted him at daycare. All she holds are fragments, images in her heart like shards of stained glass that catch the light just enough to remind her what could have been. And so, she mourns. Not in theatrical sobs or public declarations, but in the silent ache that settles in her chest at unexpected moments. At the end of a meeting, she touches her belly, the place now empty, and feels a pang that can't be explained. When her friends ask why she clutches her phone with such tenderness, she smiles and says, "Just news from the doctor," though it's more like news from her past. What does she tell the world? That her son is real, and he's gone? That her life is entire but broken? In the glare of social media, she cultivates a brave face, photos of red lipstick, expensive handbags, Russian skylines, but underneath, she's a mother in mourning. Love and motherhood are intertwined in her soul. She loved Brandon, perhaps, still does, but motherhood is a deeper river. It flows within her forever, wrapped around every tear, every breath. It pulses in the silence of empty spaces, in the heartbeat of an absent child, in the ache of a mother who never had a chance to say goodbye. What lies ahead for Julia? Perhaps a reunion, a cross-border pilgrimage, a life rebuilt on shared custody. Perhaps a quiet resolution, her son, somewhere in America, now a little boy asking about the mother he's never met. Perhaps she'll write him letters, paint him pictures, send him gifts with tiny socks and bedtime stories in Russian and English. Perhaps one day, she'll walk through customs and hold him again. Until then, she carries him with her, this son made of hope and heartbreak. In the fragrant whisper of baby powder on her palm, in dreams she can't shake, and in the mother's heart that will never stop pulsing. Julia's journey continues, not in the clips of a reality show, but in the silent corridors of motherhood and loss. And as she moves forward, her son remains the quiet center of her world.